Hello everyone, amateur meteorologist FirstinWeather here. It is August 6th, 2019, and it is almost Wednesday, midweek, and I'll be talking about the severe weather threat that we have for tomorrow. And I also will be going over the long-range outlook for the next few weeks of August. So let's get right into the video. This is the SPC Storm Prediction Center outlook, and as you can see, for tomorrow, a large portion, mostly I-95, the I-95 corridor, up to New Jersey is under a slight risk of severe weather, with surrounding areas under a marginal risk of severe weather. And to the right, we have an image that shows the overall percentage, and as you can see, the percentage is 15% for the slight risk area and 5% for the marginal risk area. Now here is the NAM 3 kilometer instantaneous precip rate. This is valid for 20Z Wednesday, and this is forecast hour 26. As you can see, we already do have a few storms popping up according to the NAM tomorrow around 2 or 3 o'clock, and these storms are popping up in upstate New York, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and also portions of North Carolina and West Virginia. And so if we go now to the same 18Z run for this evening, valid for 23Z Wednesday, which is about 5 or 4, we can see that those storms have almost consolidated. So you have one line here, one little line right here, and then one which is further south, which is affecting Maryland, DC, and Virginia in sort of these arcing shapes. And so that, to me, that suggests that there could be some straight line damage with some of these storms if they get particularly strong, because this arch shape is typical of storms with straight line wind damage, and the NAM is picking up on that kind of slight bend. Really nothing too great, but that bend is there, and so it could be indicative of the potential for straight line wind damage. Now here is a GIF for the vorticity, and this really just shows you the what's causing the storms for tomorrow. As you can see, we have that little dip in the jet stream, that small trough coming through, and that's providing enough energy for lift to take place, which is really kicking up those storms. As you can see, that vorticity, which is essentially a measure of the amount of lift in the atmosphere, how it is moving with the jet stream and how it slowly starts to rotate northeastward as that jet stream feature, that trough, starts to tilt back northeasterly. So this is all due to a weak trough over the eastern United States that will be coming through. As you can see, we have that lift forming right here that the model is picking up on, and that's going to be where we really see those storms. And as you can see, it forms in Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, upstate New York, and that vorticity is quite strong, and it really just consolidates into a line as we go more east of I-95, which is why the severe weather threat is slight for areas east of I-95, as that vorticity really just consolidates, and it could lead to the potential for a few strong storms. Now this is the NAM 3 kilometer sounding. This is valid 18Z tomorrow near Richmond, Virginia. As you can see, we do have appreciable CAPE. We have CAPE values around 2,000, 2,300. We have a little bit of wind shear, directional wind shear. We have almost no vertical wind shear at all. The change in wind speed with height is very gradual. Let me get my laser out quick. So you can see the wind speed is not really increasing quickly as you go vertical in the atmosphere profile. However, we do have a little bit of wind shear with southwesterly winds near the surface, then veering and then changing to more westerly winds as we go higher up in the atmosphere. So that is a little bit of wind shear. The precipitable water values, are 1.63 for this region. So that indicates that there is plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, as always, or as is most of the time in the summer months in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. And we also have a dry layer in the atmosphere in the mid-levels, which could help in storm intensification. Now this is for New Jersey, which is in the northern fringe of the slight risk area, and as you can see, again, we have appreciable CAPE. CAPE values 2,500 to 2,000, or 2,000 to around 3,000. Again, PWAT is pretty respectable, 1.73. As you can see, we do have quite a bit of CAPE as shown in these indices right here. Wind shear limited. Vertical wind shear, not really much of an increase in wind speed with height. However, we do have a little bit of stronger winds over here. I think personally this is a bit too high for that to really travel down to the lower depths of the atmosphere. So really, I think the wind threat is really going to be associated with any storms with downbursts or microbursts, or not downbursts, but storms that see microbursts and macrobursts. So essentially, if you just get unlucky and get caught in one of those, then you can really see some wind damage. So while the NAM was picking up on that little bending, I really, looking at the soundings, I don't really think that we're going to see much of a straight line wind threat. Yes, a few storms could turn severe just because of the instability. The lifted index or the LI values for tomorrow, -7, -8 in many areas, which means that the air is very unstable. And as you saw in the vorticity values, there is quite a bit of lift. There's going to be quite a bit of lift in the atmosphere tomorrow. So with the instability and the heat and the humidity, these storms can fire very rapidly and very quickly. And it just takes a little bit of wind shear, directional wind shear, and we have a little bit of it just to make these storms last for a relatively long amounts of time. And when that happens, we can see that storm intensify, and we can see those micro and macro bursts that can cause some straight line wind damage and stuff like that. Now, switching gears to the long range, this is the EPS ensemble model. My laser out again, or my pen. As you can see, this is valid for the 8th of August to the 13th of August. And this is a temperature anomaly forecast. It's painting a warm outlook for basically the southern half of the country, besides Western California, with basically below average temperature values for the upper Midwest and also in northern portions, or essentially most of the Northeast, and also the Great Lakes region. So as you can see, this is due to these persistent little and quick troughs that come over the eastern part of the country, and they don't really dive all the way down. Rather, they just go like this, and they just swing through and go back northeasterly. And so that's what's keeping things warm in the mid-Atlantic and also places like Kentucky, Missouri, Indiana, while the northern part of the country and the northeastern part of the country sees below average temperatures, as those troughs are essentially quite shallow and they just swing back out. So that's why these areas are seeing below average temperatures for the next couple of weeks or so. And so this is the GFS 2-meter temperature anomaly forecast. I think this is for forecast hours 14 to 288, if I'm not mistaken, or 72 to 288. As you can see, temperatures just generally remain quite seasonal over the southern half of the country, while while portions in this little black area right here, the incursions of cooler than average temperatures from those troughs that swing through. And so that's why for a couple of days in areas like the upper Midwest and Northeast, you see temperatures 5 to 10 degrees below average, and then you see things return back to normal. Then a couple of days later, you see another trough that just swings through. And I'm seeing signs that this pattern will really start to end around the middle of August. Around August 15th, August 16th, we'll start to see a ridge form in the middle of the country, and this little trophy pattern over the northern part of the country should really come to an end. So again, I'm sticking with my forecast that I released a couple weeks ago about most of the country staying warm or seeing above average temperatures or average temperatures, except this little area right here in this region right here. So my forecast looks to be pretty much on par right now. This pattern should end by the middle of August, and we should see a return to seasonal summertime conditions for the entire country, or the entire country that's east of the Mississippi, that is. And that pretty much sums up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.